Hello and welcome to This Is GTA 6 on Switch 2. Confirmed?
What?
No.
Oh. You just clickbaited me in real life. What do you mean?
Because
Why not?
GTA 5
Yep.
has been ported over to Nintendo Switch. Not by Nintendo, but by miraculous modders.
The story here is that around a year or so ago, the source code for GTA 5 leaked. And that has enabled a ton of mods to be created, but one of the more ambitious projects is to port GTA 5 to the Switch. Now, imagine GTA 5 running on the PlayStation 1. There you go. That's it for the Switch. It's not like Rockstar themselves or freaking bringing this thing out.
It is running at about 3 FPS. Do you remember pre-GTA 3?
You mean top-down?
The top-down GTA?
Yeah.
That still would be better than what we're getting currently.
So GTA 5 did ship on the Xbox 360 and the PS3.
Yep.
And most people would say that the Switch is more powerful than those consoles. I mean, we got so many games, including Red Dead Redemption, the game that came out right before GTA 5. That runs quite well on the Switch.
I would say it runs fine, not quite well. I feel like you're stretching on that
A
one.
little bit. It's not crazy to me that someone has actually gotten GTA 5 to run on the Switch, because as weak as this Switch is, it's still like a fairly powerful console when you're considering how old some of these games are. But it's understandable that it's very difficult for GTA 5 to run on the Switch. Because believe me, if Rockstar could have slapped GTA 5 on the Switch, they would have. They've already brought it out for 3 generations of consoles and PC. One of the things I think is really interesting to think about is what happens to the future of GTA when it comes to the Switch 2. Because at its core, the Switch 2 is very much anticipated very soon, likely end of this year or realistically early next year. But we're probably going to hear about Switch 2 before too much longer. And while Nintendo are being very, very conservative with it, it's going to be a big step up over the Switch 1. There's no reason why Switch 2 could run GTA 5, and I would hope GTA 6, right? Come on.
No. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Trying to take the next step with your side hustle, promote your brand, and show you mean business with a gorgeous website from Squarespace.
Whether you're a content creator, small business, or you want to build a curated directory of your favorite YouTube cats, Squarespace has got you covered.
You're not sure where to start? No worries. You can browse Squarespace's vast assortment of flexible templates. You'll find one that works for whatever you want to do. And you don't even need the arcane knowledge of CSS, which is scary to me, since Squarespace's Fluid Engine drag and drop interface makes it super easy to arrange and style everything the way you need it to be.
We even made a little page for This Is. With Squarespace's super simple built-in store, we can sell tons of Kyle action figures. But for you, you can sell your merch, content, pretty much whatever you want on Squarespace. So what are you waiting for? Check out squarespace.com/thisis to get yourself a 14-day free trial, as well as 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And thank you very much to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of This Is.
For the record,
Okay.
when you guys watch This Is, you should take a shot every time we talk about Switch 2. This is a current gen console that can't run an 11-year-old game.
Well, look, I don't think anyone is going to make the argument that this Switch is not very out of date.
What is the Switch 2 going to look like? I don't think it's going to, I think it's going to be a Steam Deck at best when it comes to power.
It probably is. The Switch 2 is going to be to current generation consoles what the Switch 1 was to the PS4 and the Xbox. It is not going to be as powerful as even something like the Steam Deck. I feel it's going to be roughly equivalent. It's going to be in that kind of ballpark.
But the Steam Deck already, currently today, is showing its wear a little bit with certain titles.
It's fine.
I mean, like, well, that's the thing. It's like, it's fine. We just have to abandon
What are you abandoning?
all notion that Nintendo's gonna be like, hey, you know what, AAA.
No, Nintendo going straight for quadruple A.
No.
Skull and Bones.
No.
Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive.
Nintendo's doing AA, maybe some single A ball, maybe some Cape Cod leagues for those baseball fans. They're just like, you know what? Just Mario for me, please.
And Pokemon. Like, don't forget, I need some Pokemon.
Yeah, well, Pokemon doesn't look any better than it did 11 years ago.
Uh-oh. Are you trying to say that if GTA 6 does not come out for the Switch 2, DOA?
You are putting a big word in my mouth.
No, but here's the thing. Like, I actually could make that argument somewhat seriously. So they've already announced it for current generation consoles only. So clearly GTA 6 will not be shipping for the PS4 and the Xbox One. Of course.
By the time it actually comes out, there's a very real possibility that the PS5 will be a last-gen console.
Okay, so here's the question then, right? If you're Nintendo, the Switch was tremendously successful. The most successful console they've had. As far as home consoles, I don't think anyone, especially Nintendo, would argue against the idea that the Switch was and has remained to be incredibly successful.
Are you just modding all of your games to look like all the characters are made out of potatoes?
No, I just take my glasses off and everything looks the same
There,
now.
okay.
That's my secret, okay?
I want to go back to something that you tried
Please
to put
do.
in my mouth.
Please do.
That if GTA 6 doesn't come
Yeah.
to it, it's that DOA. I do have a non-sarcastic version
Okay,
of
hit
that.
me.
If it's not backwards compatible, I fully think it's in the realm of possibility that Nintendo be like, no, thank you. We've decided to use these circular versions of the Switch cartridges.
We're gonna bring back the GameCube mini CDs because everyone loved those.
Yep. You guys think I'm joking? Nintendo is my mortal enemy.
I know we've talked about this before, but like, I understand that you're not amped about it. But to me, the Switch is still, in some small ways, better than like a Steam Deck or an ROG Ally, mostly because the games are obviously great.
That is such a subjective term.
Okay.
That they're great. I don't think they're great. Super Mario Wonder is just 3D Super
Oh
Mario.
my God. You have no soul.
Pokemon is just like, here's some key Pokemon. Here's a melted ice cream cone. Wait, no, you can't have it anymore because we have too many Pokemon now.
God, every time we talk about this, Matt, I just get angry.
I
Look,
get angry.
Scarlet and Violet are good games. They're buggy and they're certainly kind of laggy, but it's the first time they've really redone. Let me give it to you in terms you understand. World of Warcraft is a game that came out before people watching this video were
2004.
born. Just because it is a little crusty and old doesn't mean it can't be fun. How many hours a week would you say you put into WoW?
1,000. You want to bring up WoW. You want to compare WoW.
I would love to.
All right, so I pay $15 a month. Here's what I find is a value proposition from a gaming company, all right?
Yeah.
The current state of WoW is we have Retail, Classic, Breath of the Lich King moving into Cataclysm Classic, Season of Discovery, and now we have Plunder Storm. All of those modes are just part of the $15 a month. You get new essentially battle passes, like with seasons that are free.
But here's my counter argument. You could also just buy Mario Wonder and have a lovely time. The end. Wait, can we talk about Switch 2 again?
No, I am. They're like, you know what? Breath of the Wild, masterpiece.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's instead of actually making a sequel, let's just charge them for the DLC. And
Bro, you're gonna piss off everyone is so mad right now.
Dude.
Honestly, Matt, I think we should give Nintendo a big round of applause. Everybody, let's give them a round of applause. Nintendo are out here. They're cleaning up the streets of these illegal emulators, allowing you to play games that you bought and dumped. Unacceptable. You should be sent directly to jail. Is there any scenario that you think that the Switch 2 will not be a massive success?
It is,
unless they name it the Switch U, in which case they will not work.
I'm never one to be like, hey, you guys are an eye sheep or anything like that. It is gonna be successful, and I just that bums me out because it means they won't innovate.
Dude, no. Okay, time out. The reason why the Steam Deck, the ROG Ally, the Legion Go exist at all is because the Switch came out first.
No.
Everyone saw the Switch and goes, oh, you know what? Wouldn't it be nice if we could make a version that ran Steam? The Switch absolutely changed the game when it came to portable handhelds. And now you can argue all you want. There's no innovation, but the Switch innovated like crazy when it came out in 2017. There are now lots of other versions of a handheld gaming PC or console, whatever you want to call it. But they all trace back to the Switch.
And
which is
other
why I'm
companies
hopeful.
do it better now.
But here's the thing. There are two ways I think the Switch 2 can go. The easy and the most straightforward one is the Switch 2 is just a Switch with a bigger screen and tweaked Joy-Cons and more performance.
It's been 8 years and they still have Joy-Con drift. I'm not even asking for like a mid-cycle refresh. I'm asking them to fix the goddamn problems that have plagued it since day one.
My other alternative here is that the Switch 2 is rad as hell. We didn't really understand what the Switch was going to be until they fully announced it. We had like rumors, but like no one really had the full sort of picture of it, right? So like my hope is that the Switch 2 adds some special crazy sauce that blows our mind and makes it a complete no-brainer. But honestly, I don't think Nintendo has to do that. If Nintendo literally make a Switch 2 that is a slightly improved version of the Switch 1, that's all they have to do.
How is that not depressing?
What do you call the PS2 to the PS3 to the PS4 to the PS5? It's
depressing.
Iteration.
Why do you think I don't care about them?
Why are you watching this video if you don't care about Nintendo?
I'm in the video.
Why are you talking about it if you don't care about it?
Here's what the Switch 2 should be.
Yeah.
Ion
Game
Neo
Boy.
Flip. There's no reason there couldn't have been that version of the Switch 3 years ago. I just had the realization, if we do not get some sort of proper dual screen system, Nintendo is almost completely abandoning multiple years of their handheld.
The DS and the 3DS
because there's no good way to play any of that content.
You have to emulate it, which is of course is something that you should go directly to jail to.
Right.
If you say
if they're going to be like, hey, jail, how many years was the DS line available? I mean, original DS to
2021.
17 years of content.
Yeah.
Right now, there is not a good legal way to play that stuff.
And of course, buying a used game is also something you should be sent to jail to because you didn't give Nintendo more money.
Who are you more afraid of, Nintendo or the IRS?
Oh, Nintendo.
Yeah, right? Like,
Yeah, of course. Break glass in case of emergency, kids. While we're in the middle of making this video, further Switch news has happened, therefore completely rendering the last part of our conversation useless. So let us fill you in, shall we?
the Switch 2 will use magnetic suction cup Joy-Cons.
So according to MobaPad, who have apparently had some well-placed sources and a number of other sort of accessory makers who supposedly got recently hands-on with the Switch 2. So basically the idea is that Nintendo wants the accessory makers to start building stuff for the Switch 2, but they don't want to show them the Switch 2.
They weren't allowed to see it, but they were allowed to touch, which apparently is a thing called the Gom-Jabbar test.
They were told a couple of basic specs and they could stick their hands in a box and feel the Switch and then decide how they wanted to build their accessories.
MobaPad also says the dock is pretty much the same. It uses the same USB-C that's already in there. Also, it would have 4K resolution.
Which 100% makes sense. There's no way they can ship a Switch, even though it's probably not going to really be able to game very well at 4K. You can probably watch 4K video on it, and using DLSS and whatnot, you can upscale games a little bit closer to 4K, much the same way that the Series S supports 4K, but almost no games will run at full native 4K. That completely makes sense. Now, one of the things I thought was a little bit more interesting is that apparently the display, which is supposedly around 8 inches or so, is going to be running at 1080p resolution. It makes sense that that's going to be an upgrade over the existing Switch, but that's significantly higher resolution than something like the Steam Deck, which runs at 800p. But the thing is, you actually don't want a really high resolution panel because you're going to have to burn more battery life and you're going to lose more performance by running at that higher resolution. And if you were running Switch 2 games at, say, 720p like the existing Switch, odds are you would have better performance, better battery life.
Do you think a Nintendo game is gonna get anywhere near 90 hertz?
Well, no, a lot of games. I don't know.
Here I am trying to give credit where credit's due, and like I'm becoming the Nintendo Defender.
Defendo, excuse me.
And you're
They're Defendos.
and now you're oppressendosing me.
The lore is very simple. If you're a fan of Nintendo, you're a Defendo. If you're anti-Nintendo, then you're a Offendo. Aaron, if you could just maybe make some little graphics for the Offendo and Defendo, that'd be great. Thanks. The other thing that we've learned here are the Joy-Cons.
So it uses a magnetic suction to attach to the console.
I think it just sounds like you put the Joy-Con on and it just goes, and like the magnets just like lock it in and then detach it. I'm not like, to be fair, a massive fan of the way that the current Joy-Cons work. Even though they're pretty decent, I still feel there's a little bit of creaking in that sort of mechanism. But instead of having the sliding rail, if you could just put the Joy-Con along the side and it detects the magnet and just goes ka-chunk, that would actually be, I
so
think,
actually
cool.
what MobaPad says, they claim that there's buttons on the either side that basically would turn off the magnet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This means that you wouldn't be able to use your Joy-Con 1s, presumably, with the Switch 2. Most likely they would work as like an external controller, but
exactly
to take on the go, you wouldn't be able to use your older one.
There's probably gonna be a couple of like other like upgrades, whether it's HD Rumble ×3 or whatever. Like there's gonna be some slight changes. And in fact, a lot of the existing Switch stuff is going to be carryover, including, importantly, say it with me, backwards compatibility.
And what we know that is not happening, there was some rumblings in the Switch 2 space, maybe a dual screen clamshell.
No, that was never gonna happen.
Well, there was patents that said maybe.
There's patents about flying cars, Matt. Where's my flying car? Here's the thing, it's super simple. The Switch 2 clearly coming. I think someone quoted them as saying it's a bit more of a like Switch Pro than a Switch 2, but I'm gonna defend that. Fine. The Switch 1 was great. All we need is an improved version of the Switch 2 to keep it relevant. Like, subscribe, ring-a-ling that ding-a-ling, and let this phony pony know
it's boring
that you're a real Defendo.
Boring.
No, you gotta be out here.
He's
Z snore. Z.